It's real estate coach Craig Proctor. Come on in here. We got an important conversation today about listing presentations, why they're really, really important to you, and especially since all of these changes in the industry, you got to list to last, right? It's always been that way. It's more important now than ever before. You've got to get the listings. Look, now that the buyer is going to have to pay their own agent, I think you agree, many buyers will probably just call listing agent, right? That's going to happen. So I believe that these changes are going to cause you to get more commission when you're working with sellers, because arguably you're going to be doing more of the work, right? You're going to be doing the listing side, and you're going to be working with a lot of the buyers. So we're going to talk about the ultimate listing presentation, not just the presentation itself, but we're going to talk about how to get the listings, right? How do I get these listing appointments? And how do I qualify these prospects so I'm not wasting my time meeting with people that aren't really sincere about buying or selling? And then how do I nail this listing presentation? Okay, you can't really make a seller list with you, right? You can only compel them to want to meet with you and compel them to want to choose you over everyone else. Now, this is how good your listing presentation has to be. At the end of it, they've got to feel like they want to work with you and only with you. And that's how you're going to be able to dictate your fee versus fee matching. A lot of you right now, you do a great presentation and then the seller calls you back afterwards and says, well, look, I interviewed a bunch of agents. I really would prefer to go with you, but I've had other realtors, offer me a lower commission fee. So if you'll match that fee, I'd rather go with you. And then we end up matching the fee. We don't really want to do that, right? What we want to do is be in a category of one, right? We want the seller to have this mindset that they want to work with you and only with you. And I want to teach you how to set yourself apart from the other agents and how to offer unique services and unique programs and actual performance guarantees so they right away see the difference. They see that how choosing you is going to help them get the best result, which is netting more money in their pocket. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you haven't checked in, please take care of that. Let us know your name and your city. That I want to know who's with us here today, your name and your city, because I have a special gift for you. What I've done is I've prepared a report on the top 9 reasons that real estate agents lose listings. And if you guys would like this report, this is based on 30 years of my experience, the top 9 reasons why you lose a listing and what to do about it. Just type your email address in below. Type your email address in the chat, and we'll email this information out to you. I'm not going to, not a sales pitch or anything. We're just going to give you the information. My strategy here is I'm just going to help you. The easiest way for me to prove to you that I can help you is just paying it forward and actually helping you. So I got a list of things I want to cover here today. Again, make sure you check in. Let us know the city and state that you operate in. I started off by saying why listings are going to be more important here today. Unless you've been living under a rock in the United States, you know that in July, things are going to change, right? You're not going to be able to offer a buyer broker commission on the MLS. So that field in the MLS is going away. And if you're in Canada and you think, okay, well, this doesn't apply to me, well, guess what? It's going to happen in Canada too, shortly afterwards is my prediction. So we want to get ready for this and we want to ramp up our listings. Obviously, if you're mostly listing based, then you're good. Nothing really changes for you because as a listing agent, you've always had the right and the ability and the power to negotiate your fee directly with the buyer. However, when you work with a buyer, the way it was working up until recently is someone else was deciding your fee, right? You're representing your buyer, but the listing agent and or the seller have decided what you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid 3% or 2.5% or 2%. Well, now that's going to be 0. That's a topic for a different day. I'm going to show you how to negotiate your fee directly with the buyer, but still get the seller to pay for it. That compensation cannot be done on MLS, but it can be done inside the purchase agreement. So we'll talk about that a separate time. Today is all about listings. I was very good at listings. I listed over 10,000 properties. Many of you know my story. Within 3 years of having my real estate license, I was named the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world. Now, in the beginning, my listing presentation, I guess we could call it wing it. How many of you have a wing it presentation? What do I mean by a wing it presentation? It means I really didn't have it down. I just kind of made it up. If I had 3 presentations this week, every presentation would be different. It was exciting and fun because I never knew what the hell was going to come out of my mouth, but it wasn't very effective. How many of you would agree that there probably is a best way to deliver your benefits to the seller? I mean, let me know, smash the like button. Okay, let me know in comments below. Do you believe there's probably a best way? When you're flying in an airplane, the pilot has a flight plan, right? The pilot does not wing it. The pilot follows the flight plan. It's the best way to get from point A to point B. When you're having surgery, you sure as hell hope that the surgeon isn't playing wing it, right? That they have a plan. They've done this over and over again. Same thing for you in real estate. You've got to have a lead generation plan. I'm not just talking about generating leads. The new call to action is the seller calls you. Now, you might not know how to do that, or maybe you're doing that with some success right now. But I'm not talking about buying leads from Zillow. I'm not talking about cold calling, door knocking, sitting in open houses, all the crap that you guys have been taught to. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about offering sellers what they really, really want that they can't get on their own. Okay, the only person they can get this thing that they want or these things that they want is from you. Now, you're wondering, well, what are these things? Well, we're going to talk about what the things are that you should offer to get them to call you, okay? And you can still blow it, right? Let's say that I do a good job here today and I show you what to offer sellers to get them to call you and say, hey, I want to talk to you about selling my house, right? Not you chasing them. Let me be clear. This is not about you chasing them. I do not want you making an outbound call to a seller that hasn't already contacted you. How many of you agree that would be better? How do you think I went from being a nobody in real estate to 3 years later becoming the #1 RE/MAX agent in the entire world? It's because I cracked the code on marketing. I figured out what it is that sellers really want. I made it easy and non-threatening for sellers to call me. Okay, we're not driving them to a landing page. I don't want a list of 100 leads and I have to sit on the phone and call 100 people to get 2 or 3 people to answer the phone. That is garbage. That strategy. They're not picking up the phone. You're frustrated with that. You know that doesn't work and you're like, there's got to be a better way. That's right. Who can teach you the better way? Real estate agents that make millions of dollars selling real estate, right? Let's forget about what happened in the 1970s and 80s and buying leads and I got to call them all to tell them what I do. Nope, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to get prospects to contact you and say, I'm interested in speaking to you about selling my home. Now, we can do this with different performance guarantees. For example, I guarantee to sell your home at the full asking price or I'll pay you the difference. Now, there'd be a limit to what you'd be willing to offer. There's conditions. Or how about this? Your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it, or move up to any one of my listings. I'll buy your home for cash. Now, of course, you don't know how to do that stuff. You're terrified of it. You're like, oh my God, I get stuck with all these houses. I ended up buying 2 houses over a 25-year period. I made millions and millions of dollars guaranteeing my performance. What sellers want today is they want certainty. Here's who you're competing with today. A lot of you think, well, I'm competing with other real estate agents. Nope, you're not competing with other real estate agents. You're competing with cash offers. That's who you're competing with. Today, the seller is more interested in convenience than anything else. Okay, we live in a world of convenience. How many of you use Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes, and even though Subway subs is 5 minutes from your house and you could drive down there and you could buy the sub for $8, you'd rather press a button and pay $20 and have the submarine sandwich delivered to your door. It's the same thing with selling your home. So in the state of Texas last year, 28% of the homes that were sold were not sold to Bob and Mary, the home buyer. They were sold to institutionals, to cash buyers, right? What's the benefit if you're a seller? You get your home sold. You don't have to go through all the traditional rigmarole of preparing your home for sale and getting kicked out of the house and losing your privacy for weeks or months. So you can see how that appeals to a lot of home sellers. So this is the way the industry is moving. What sellers really want today is a sell button. That's what they want. And this is how the industry is changing. It's going more and more towards the sell button. Well, 25 years ago, I gave certainty to the real estate community in my world, okay? I said, your home sold or I'll buy it. I will give you an upfront written guarantee that you and I are going to agree to of what I'll buy the house for if I haven't got it sold within 120 days. Then I would market the home for 120 days. And 99 out of 100 times, I would procure an offer from an outside buyer that was superior to my upfront written guarantee, meaning I didn't have to buy the house. I got the seller to call me on the strength of the guarantee because they wanted certainty. And as soon as they got my upfront written guarantee, they had certainty. They knew, worst case, after 120 days, Craig Proctor is going to buy my home for the pre-agreed price, and we can go now make a firm cash offer on another property. Right? Now, best case, the house does sell before Craig buys it. It sells during the 120-day marketing period for a price superior to what Craig is offering, and my clients always got the higher price, whether it was my upfront price in writing or a superior price from an outside buyer. So these are the type of really aggressive marketing campaigns that I ran to sell over 10,000 homes. Now, if you're a bit gun shy on this, I totally get it. Okay. The first time I ran the guarantee ad, I was like freaked out. Oh my God, I'm going to get stuck buying these homes. I bought 2 in 25 years. Now, how about you start with something simple? How about this? Try this performance guarantee. Your home sold in under X amount of days. You decide, make the biggest promise you can both make and keep. But let's say you did this. Your home sold in under 30 days, or I'll deduct $1,000 off my commission. How many of you could do that? Oh my God, I don't want to deduct $1,000 off my... Okay, look. Some of you might see this as the cup is half empty, but I want you to think about this. You run some Craig Proctor marketing. It says your home sold, guaranteed in under 30 days, or I pay you $1,000 cash. What's the worst thing that happens? First of all, this is a total stranger that does not know you. In other words, had you not run the ad, they wouldn't have called you and you would have $0. What's the worst case that could happen? A stranger calls you, you give them the guarantee, and the house sells in 31 days. Okay, you got to deduct $1,000 off your commission. So instead of making $20,000, you make $19,000. Boo-hoo. Well, Craig, what if the house doesn't sell at all? Well, you don't pay anything because it's structured as a reduction of the commission. Now, you guys don't know how to do this, of course. This is part of what I coach you up on. I show you how to do this. Order this report, guys. I created this for you. Order it. It's free, okay? $0. So is this training. It's absolutely free to you. I'm just telling you guys the truth on how I did it. You can like it. You can not like it. You can stay doing what you're doing. It's not going to affect me. I'm good. Take the commissions I made. Forget being a real estate coach for the last 25 years. If you take the fact that I sold, and this is factual, it's documented, my public record is very well documented, #1 agent in the world for RE/MAX for years and years and years. I sold over 10,000 homes. Okay, so if we take a pathetic commission of, let's say, $10,000 on 10,000 homes, you can figure out what Craig Proctor made being a real estate agent. Now, for the last 25 years, on top of that, I've made even more money coaching and training other agents and showing them how I did what I did, right? And today, I've got thousands of real estate agents that make over $1 million a year. If you want some social proof, Google some of these agents. There's a guy in Rhode Island. He's been my client now for about 20 years. His name is Nathan Clark. Nathan Clark. His company is called Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Yeah, it's one of my brokerages. I've got 80 of them all over the United States and Canada. And this guy makes about $6 million in gross commission income. Try this guy, Tracy King. Tracy King Okay, Kings of Real Estate. His company is called Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. It's a Craig Proctor brokerage. Again, we got 80 of them all over the United States and Canada. This guy makes about, I don't know, $7-8 million in GCI. So I could go on and on with the evidence, but you want to find somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, that actually has walked the talk here, guys. There's all kinds of idiots on, giving advice. In fact, let's agree. There's more advice about how to make money in real estate and how to sell real estate. There's more advice online, YouTube, whatever, than ever in the history of time. There's more information and advice, a lot of it bad advice, on how to make money as a real estate agent. But there's more people struggling than ever. Why? Because they're confused by all the bad advice. So thanks for hanging with me today. Let's get into the listing presentation. You're going to make aggressive offers. I don't have time to go through all the aggressive offers. Just trust me, Craig knows what he's doing. I get people to call you, and here's what the phone calls say. Either come and list my house, or I'd like to speak to Craig about listing my house. You ain't calling 1,000 Zillow leads back. You're not calling for sale by owners. You're not sitting there doing floor time. All the stuff, I tried all the stuff they tell you to do. I almost failed and left the business in my first year, okay? Forget that. You want to have this mindset. Look around at what all the other agents are doing, and you want to say to yourself, if I want to be successful, do what Craig Proctor did. You want to push back against industry norms. The fact that all the other agents are doing it this way should tell your brain, go the opposite direction. You want to push back against industry norms and standards, okay? The more you act like them and you look like them, the worse you're going to do. Believe me on this. Okay, now let's get to the presentation itself. I have qualified these sellers. Even though they've called me, right? That's what you want, come list me's. I still qualify them. I've been had before, right? You've been had before. What do I mean by that? You get to their house, even though they called you, and you find out that they're not really motivated, or their timing is 6 months down the road or a year down the road. No, I'm not going to meet with a seller that's not ready to list their house now. If they're not motivated and their timing's not now, well, Craig, what if they're going to move a year from now? I'll go see them a year from now. It's no good meeting with people that are a year down the road, because whatever you tell them about you and whatever price you give them, a year from now, they've forgotten whatever you said about you, and whatever price you gave them a year ago will not be the right price. And believe me, this will be used against you. So a year from now, when they are ready to list their home, here's what they think. Well, I met with Craig, been there, done that, I heard him. They don't retain anything from a year ago. You're better to follow up with the seller until when they're ready, getting close to taking action. Okay. So they're motivated. I've determined, okay, this guy's motivated. This person's motivated, and their timing is now. We set the appointment. I ask them a couple questions, right? Are you speaking to other real estate agents? Don't be afraid to ask this question. If the answer is yes, I say, when are you going to meet with the other real estate agents? Because I would like to be the last realtor you meet with. Why? So I can show you how much extra I do to get your home sold. Okay. Makes sense, right? Now I've booked myself as last in. Wait a minute, though. Some of you guys are like, well, that's what if they list with one of the other agents before you go in? Like that strategy being last in, Craig, it could backfire. Absolutely. It's not that I haven't thought about this. It used to happen to me, it backfired. So I had to invent a way to lock in that appointment so they wouldn't list with one of the agents before they met with me. So let's do it from the top. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, are you going to be speaking with other realtors? If the answer is no, I just booked my appointment. If the answer is yes, when are you going to be meeting with the other realtors? Because I would like to be the last realtor you meet with. Why? So I can show you how much extra I do to get your home sold. Once I have that appointment locked in, okay, they're meeting the other realtors on Thursday. I'm going to go in on Friday, right, after the other two realtors. While I'm still on the phone, I say this. Okay, we've got the appointment confirmed for Friday at 1 p.m. Now, all I ask in return is I'm going to do a fair amount of work in preparation for our meeting Friday at 1 p.m. And all I ask in return is for your commitment that you will not sign anything with one of the other two realtors before you and I meet Friday at 1 p.m. Does that sound fair? Does it sound fair? What do you guys think? Do you guys do a lot of work in preparation for your listing appointments? You do, right? You do your CMAs, you do all your stuff, you do all this work. So I think it's fair. I'm telling the truth, right? I'm going to do a fair amount of work in preparation for our meeting Friday at 1 p.m. All I ask in return is your commitment that you won't list with one of the other two realtors before you and I have a chance to meet on Friday. Now, if they're wishy-washy on this, if I can't get their commitment, believe me, switch gears, go in right now. You better be first. If they won't commit to you being last and that they're not going to list with one of the other realtors until you meet with them on Friday, switch gears right there and go, okay, actually, I just found an opening. I can see you this afternoon. Okay, if I can't be last, I'm going to be first because they're telling me, they're not going to play my game. They're not going to wait for me. So now I'm at the house. By the way, if you guys find this helpful, it is totally okay to smash the like button. In fact, you know what would really feel good? If you give me a little heart. Click on the little heart and let me drop your comments in there. This is free training to you, okay? I don't have a horse in this race. You can use it. You can ignore it. I'm just telling you how I sold 10,000 homes and became the #1 RE/MAX agent in the entire world within 36 months of getting my real estate license. Use this information as you will, folks. Okay, so drop your comments in. Do you agree with this approach? Right? Let's get them to call us. Enough of this chasing, buying leads, chasing FSBOs, sitting in open house. This is crazy, moronic activities. And here's the thing about this. You guys don't like doing that, right? Tell me, do you guys like do you like buying Zillow leads and calling them, hi, I saw you? No, you don't like doing it. So this is the crazy thing about paradigms. We get into the real estate business, very normal, right? We look around at what all the other realtors are doing and we copy them, believing, well, that's the way to do it. Now that is true. Like if we were plumbers or whatever industry we got into, the natural thing is we'd look around at what all the other plumbers are doing and we'd start to operate that way. You got to push against industry standards, okay? Don't do it that way. The fact that everyone else is thinking and behaving a certain way should tell your brain there's a better way to do this. So in Craig Proctor world, there is no cold calling. There's no wasting money buying Zillow leads or buying leads and then trying to get them on the phone. They're not answering the phone. You know that. You don't even answer the phone. You're a real estate agent. You don't want to answer the phone. Is that right? How ticked off do you get when a telemarketer calls you? Right? So you're positioned very poorly doing it the industry way. Think about this. If you get people to call you, you follow Craig Proctor, you follow my advice, and this works, and you get people that want to sell to actually call you. Why? Because you're offering stuff they want. You are not positioned as an annoying pest. Instead, you're positioned as a most welcome guest. Do you guys see the difference? The way I show you how to be positioned, you're going to get your full commission. You're going to get the listing. Get them to chase you. This is all about positioning. Not cold calling, door knocking, buying leads, begging for business. That's how you sell 10 homes a year. Oh, I worked really hard. Okay, you sold 20. But guess what? The next year you sold 30 and you're working 7 days a week. That's not called a business. That's called a crappy job. You got into real estate for freedom. You didn't get into real estate to give up your nights and weekends and chase people around fretting and worried about where your next commission check's going to be. You've got to be bold about this. You've got to have accurate thinking. Okay, we get to their house. You know, I know my trainings about the listing price. We haven't even got to the listing. We haven't even got to the house yet. I'm just giving you the mindset and how this needs to be set up in your mind. We get to the house. I knock on the door. I don't know where I came up with this, but this is what I started to do. I knock on the door. Seller comes out. I introduce myself. Oh, hi, this is Craig Proctor with RE/MAX. Are you folks ready to get your home sold today? And they would either say yes, which is good. It tells my brain, okay, we're ready to rock and roll. I walk in, and on the kitchen table, they've got the tax bill and their survey. We're ready to go. Or they might say, when I say, are you folks ready to get your home sold today, they might say, I don't know, it depends what you have to say. That tells my brain, well, maybe I got to do a little bit of work here. I've got to do a presentation. Either way, we walk into the house. Where are we going to sit? I know you might not give a lot of thought to this. I didn't when I first got into real estate. They would lead me into the family room. So here I am like a dummy sitting on one couch, and 20 feet away from me on another couch is husband and wife. I can't do a presentation that way. So I learned that I politely asked, could we sit at a table? Usually the kitchen table. Fine. Now, here's the minutia, like the stuff you learn in 20, 30 years of doing this, right? In the beginning, so all of a sudden now I've got them sit at the kitchen table. In the beginning, though, the husband would sit on the left side of me and the wife on the right side. And do you know how you guys try to give them equal attention, right? I'm trying to pay attention to the husband and give equal attention to the wife. And no matter how good a job you believe you're doing at giving husband and wife equal attention, there's always one of them that thinks you gave the other one more attention. And you're like bobbing your head back and forth. I just learned not to do that. So what I would suggest when I sit down at the kitchen table, the dining room table, is I'd say to husband and wife, could you sit beside me either to my left or right? Now, this sounds like a small detail. Are you a right-handed presenter or are you a left-handed presenter? So I've got my laptop up. Type into comments and tell me. Let's just do a little survey here. For me, I opened my laptop and I found that I had a preference on which side I had husband and wife sit. Think about that. Like, these are details, but remember, when we go to their house, we're actors and we're setting the stage. The stage is the kitchen table or the dining room table. So I started to do this. I started to okay, I've got my laptop here, and I found that I preferred to have husband and wife sitting to the right of me. I powered up my laptop. Now we're going to go look at the house. Now, there's something else I don't really have time to get into today, but many of you are aware of the DISC personality test. I brought that into real estate 30 years ago. DISC personality, of course, I've trained it to a whole thousands of agents, and they've shared it with, it came from me. Okay, now, D stands for your dominant personality. I is influence. S is supportive. C is cooperative. This is bottom line how it works. People are different, right? When I first got into real estate, I noticed right away I had difficulty with sellers that were analytical people. So they were like, civil engineers, electrical engineers, accountants. I had difficulty with them. You show up at their house, they got the 3-ring binder, Remax, Century 21, Coldwell Banker. I'd be at their house for an hour and a half, did what I thought was a good presentation, and they'd say, well, we got to think about it. Now, back then, I didn't understand personality types, right? So what I falsely believed, probably what you falsely believe, is that everyone's like me, right? That the way you make buy decisions, well, that's the way everybody thinks, right? Well, it's not true, right? The high C personality, the analytical, likes to think about things. So in my early days, I'd meet with an accountant or, a civil or electrical engineer, and, they've got the pocket protector with the pens in, and they've got all the questions. I'm there for an hour and a half, and I'm trying to close for the appointment. Well, we have to think about, what is it that you have to think about? Like, I've been here for an hour and a half. Why don't you just tell me what you have to think about, and we can discuss it. That was the bad approach, right? Because I'm pressing them, I'm trying to close them, and they don't want to do that. What I learned to do, for example, was to say, when I identified this personality type is, well, look, we've covered a lot of great information today. What don't you think about it? Sleep on it tonight, and I'll follow up with you tomorrow, which is exactly what they want to do anyway. The other agents I interview try to close them. Craig Proctor comes in and says, why don't you think about it? I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Immediately, they like me, right? Let's agree. This personality stuff is important, by the way, because how many of you have lost a listing? Everything was going great, right? And you could just feel it. You lost the listing. And when you followed up with them a couple days later, said, hey, I was at your house, wanted to follow up, see if you made decisions about the house yet. And they say, well, we did. We ended up going with another realtor. And you ask why, and they say, we just felt more comfortable with the other realtor. How many of you have heard that before? When you follow up with a listing you didn't get, they say, I just felt more comfortable with the other realtor. Let me know in the comments if that's happened to you. What are they really saying? They didn't feel comfortable with you because you didn't sell them the right way. How many of you have lost a listing that you had no business losing? You're like, oh my God, I can't believe I lost to him or her. You had a better track record. You have a better presentation. You've got better statistics. You're a better agent. and you lost it. It doesn't have to make sense, right? So if we want to be universal appealing, really successful, you can't be successful with 25% of the people, right? If it's true there's 4 personality types, you want to be able to relate to 100% of people. What am I trying to say here? I'm going to give you guys the best presentation. I've got it. I've got the, how can I say that? How can Craig Proctor come on here and say he's got the best presentation? Because I've listed more houses than anybody else, that's why. Over 30 years, I listed more houses than anyone else, and I've got more millionaire agents that I've created who have listed more houses than anybody else. Okay, so how did it become a great listing presentation? In the beginning, my presentation sucked. I knew nothing. And I started to experiment with different things that came out of my mouth. I would try this and I would try that. And much of what I said fell on deaf ears. You guys know, right? You're paying attention. You're looking at the seller's reaction to what you're saying. And some of the things that we say, it's like, yeah, they're not digging it, right? They're not liking it. So over the years, I experimented with saying different things and watching what their response was. So it was a matter of testing different things to find out what sellers liked the most. And then there was an actual pecking order to putting this stuff in the right order. So how do we discover what they like the best and then what we should talk about first, second, third, and so on? Okay, we're going to get to the part called discovery. We're sitting at the kitchen table and we've got to find out what makes them tick. Let me give you an example. Early in my career, I might meet with the seller and I might decide during this presentation that I should talk about open houses. You know, that Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller, if you list your house, I really believe in open houses and open houses are great. And then I would find out at the end of my presentation that the sellers hated open houses. That's pretty dumb, right? So we want to do discovery. What do we mean? We ask them a series of questions about why they're moving, what's important to them, and since they're interviewing agents, how that selection process is going to work. Like if you're interviewing agents, you must have a selection process, right? How are you going to pick one? This is going to save you a lot of time. Let them tell you what they're looking for, and here's what you're going to do. You ready? You're going to repeat it back to them. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Where did I get this idea? In high school, I dated a girl, her older sister worked for Pitney Bowes. This is before I even got into real estate. And I kind of idolized this guy. You know, he made a lot of money, he drove a nice car, and I'm like, 18, 19 years old. And he told me one day that the Pitney Bowes training, I said, well, like, what do you do? How do you make all this money? He goes, well, we go into businesses and we ask them about, back in the day, about their copiers and what they liked and what they didn't like. And we were trained to say, well, we have this copier that we think will better match your needs. And we simply repeated back all the things that this new Pitney Bowes copier did that they already said that they liked, and what it didn't do, all the stuff they hated. He goes, it's the most ridiculous thing, but we basically asked them what they liked and what they didn't like about their photocopier, and then we talked about ours, and at the end, the business owner would say, oh my God, it sounds like your copier would be perfect. So that always stuck with me. I was like, I'm going to try this in real estate. So I started asking the sellers, like, what's important to you? Well, we hate open houses. Note to Craig's brain. Don't spend a lot of time talking about open houses. The guy just told you he hates open houses. Well, what's important to you? Well, customer service, communication. Okay, that tells my brain I better spend some more time talking about communication. Why do we guess? Why the hell do we guess? We have this set presentation. Our attitude is like, well, I don't care what's really important to them. Keller Williams is giving me this presentation, and this is what we're going to talk about. Or even worse, we're going to talk about ourselves. Well, I've been the Centurion Award winner since 2017. I've lived here in the town for 17 years. Nobody cares. I've got these designations. Nobody cares about that. There's one king of the castle, and that's the seller. Your job is basically in discovery, you're interviewing the seller to find out what they want. Find out what they want, and then we're going to customize our presentation around that. They don't care what's important to you. All they care about is what's important to them. You need to have the same attitude. Why do we think, oh, well, I'm really proud of my accomplishments and I've got this Matterport. No, maybe they're not interested in that. Don't be like right now. I got 84 of you that have hung with me so far. You like it. It's good stuff, right? Why are you hanging with me? Why are you watching this? Because you know it's real. It's good stuff. I am talking about what's of interest to you, right? That's what I know how to do. This is what you need to do. And some of you are really good at this, right? Some of you are like, well, Craig, I get it. You're preaching to the choir. I do it this way. So we're going to start off with discovery, asking them a bunch of questions to try to eke out, is that the word? Eke out, discover exactly what makes them tick. Why are they moving? How about this? Why is it important that they move? Why is that important? We don't get to there's an emotional connection here as to why they want to move. How important is this? When do you need to be there? You're interviewing agents. What exactly are you looking for? What is your selection criteria? Tell me about the other times you've sold homes for sale. What did you like? What did you not like? Well, the last agent listed our home, bolted, and we never heard from the agent again. We had to chase the agent. It was a terrible experience, right? This is all going to feed into your presentation, right? Be a good listener. Right? Men, we got to be better listeners, right? We're not good listeners. We got to listen. Also, don't be focusing on doing most of the talking. You learn more when you're listening, right? Like, don't be a blowhard, go in there, talk. No. I'm there to listen. I'm there to learn, okay? How am I going to sell this person? What is their personality type? How do they like to be sold? It doesn't matter how Craig Proctor likes to buy things or how I make decisions. Right? That doesn't matter. They don't care about your track record. They don't care about what's important to you. The whole presentation is about them and what they want. Now, we're going to talk about unique services. What unique services do you offer that other agents don't offer? Why should I choose to do business with you versus all other options? And if I'm selling my house, let me lay out the options I have. Okay, here's my options. I don't have to sell. That's one option. I could sell it myself. That's another option. I could list with you or any of the thousands of realtors you compete with. Please tell me concisely, in one sentence, why I should choose to do business with you versus all other alternative options. How many of you have a spectacular answer to that most important question that, by the way, every seller is either outright asking you that question or at least they're thinking about it, right? They're thinking about it. It's like, why should I list with him or her versus all the other agents or selling it myself or maybe not even selling? We teach you at Craig Proctor Coaching how to answer that question in amazing ways. So at the end of the presentation, they would not consider going with an ordinary real estate agent. This is when your fee becomes less important, right? You want to be in a category of one. Look at what I told you early in the presentation. When I first got into real estate, looking around what everyone does, ordinary agent, struggling, I did one thing. Your home sold guaranteed or I'll buy it. Boom. I'm not even a real estate agent anymore. I'm in a category of one. Category of one. You can list with the other agents and hopefully maybe like they'll try to sell your home, or you can call Craig Proctor and get an immediate cash offer. What do you think is better? Now, whether you like the guarantee, I know a lot, it's bait and switch. Yeah, my bait's better than your bait, right? I like it when people say, it's bait and switch, like that's wrong. No, that's called marketing. Every time you advertise a listing, here's what happens. A whole bunch of people call you and they tell you the house is too big, too small, wrong location or whatever. So you baited them with your house ad and then you tell them about other homes that match their criteria. What did you just do? You did bait and switch. Every real estate agent who advertises one of their listings, we could accuse of bait and switch. You baited the buyer to call you because they wanted information on your home and you told them it's a 3-bedroom. They said, I want a 4-bedroom. Unless you say, I can't help you then. If you're not going to buy my listing, I can't help you find another home. How many of you don't do that? How many of you say, what are you looking for? A 4-bedroom in the neighborhood? Well, look I could tell you about other 4-bedroom homes in the neighborhood, and they're not even your listing. They're homes on MLS, right? That is the name of real estate. Don't feel bait and switch. Yeah, you want to be baiting all the buyers and sellers I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to try to bait as many buyers and sellers to call me as possible. That's called marketing. Jeez. Okay, so here's one that we're going to do. What I teach you to do is one of the techniques that we're going to use to get sellers to call you is the seller is going to act first as a buyer. Every seller is a buyer before they're sellers, pretty much, with a few exceptions, unless they're not buying another home. How many of you agree with that? Let me know in the comments if you agree with that idea. Okay, in other words, what the hell am I saying? I'm saying that it's unlikely that a homeowner is going to stick a for sale sign on their front lawn without knowing where they're going to go to next. Right? How many of you have sellers right now that if you brought them an offer for 10% more than what their house is worth, they would not sell because they got nowhere to go to? Where they're going to be homeless? So one of the techniques we're going to use is, instead of saying, do you want a free CMA? Pathetic, right? Nobody even knows what that is. Well, what's a CMA? It's a market evaluation. Why don't we just say that? And by the way, if your big offer to sellers is a free market evaluation, good luck with that, because they have something called the internet, right? Like, do we really still think in 2024 that the sellers need to call us to find out what the homes on their street have sold for? They can go to 18 different websites and find out. Not only can they find out what the house is worth and what all the other homes in the area have sold for, they can find out the last 4 times the house sold for, what it sold for. They can find out about schools and taxes. They can find out all this information. So if you're locked in the past and you're offering stuff that buyers and sellers can find without you, that's exactly what they're going to do. Well, what do you mean, Craig? Well, what do you do? How many of you start your search by calling, you want to buy a new car? How many of you just walk into the dealership? Or how many of you are like, well, you know what? I really don't want to walk into the sales and deal with the salesperson yet. I'm going to do a bit of research. Maybe I'll go to BMW and look at their current inventory and read some stuff. You're going to do as much research as you can before you buy the car. How many of you would prefer to buy the car without a salesperson? And you can see we have companies like Carvana now that operate like that. You don't have to talk to a salesperson. You buy the car totally online. There's no negotiating. We drop the car off at your house. You get to drive the car for 30 days. If you don't like it, call us and we'll come and pick it up and give all your money back. This is what Craig Proctor brought to real estate. Your home sold guaranteed. Now I've got 80 brokerages out there. Your home sold guaranteed realty. Okay, our promise is in our name. Yeah, you call us, we give you an upfront cash offer on your home. Okay, that's how it works. If we ever sell it for more money, you always get the highest price. But you've got certainty. You know how much you're getting. Bottom line, you know when you're getting the money, right? Then they interview another agent. Well, our presentation is about what we're going to do to try to find a buyer for your home. Nope, we already got a buyer for your home. Craig Proctor, we're going to buy it right now. Okay, so I want to talk to you about your database of buyers. So I teach you all this marketing so that you can get create a large database of buyers. So here's how the deal works. Imagine showing up at a listing presentation, and you say to the seller, this is exactly how I do it. I have a printout of all the buyers I'm working with and which one of my buyer agents, because I have a team, which one of my buyer agents is working with these buyers. And I would say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, in preparation for our appointment today, I did a search of my database, and I have 87 buyers that are looking to buy a home in your neighborhood in your price range. Now, should you decide to list your home with me, the very first thing that I would do is I would email pictures and detailed information of your home out to the 87 buyers that I have. Watch this. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost like I've been looking for a buyer for your home before you and I even met today. Pause. What seed have I planted in the seller's mind? I've interviewed all these other agents. None of the other agents talked about all they wanted to talk about is how to find a buyer or what they might do to find a buyer. This Craig Proctor guy shows up and he's showing me a list with the names of 87 people in his database that he's already working with that want to buy a home in our neighborhood in this price range. So I might say, I realize, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you've interviewed a couple of other realtors. Did the other 2 realtors you meet with, did they talk to you about how many buyers they have that they're working with? No, Craig. All they talked about, all their presentation was about what they would begin to do, what they would start to do to try to find a buyer for a home. Do you see how I've created massive doubt there, folks? How did I become really good at this? 10,000 times. You do anything 10,000 times, you're going to get better and better at it, right? Now, here's the key. I figured it out, and I've taught thousands of realtors how to do it. So first, I teach you how to do it. Now, once I teach you how to do it, I promise you, if you do it the way I instruct you, I teach you to do it, you will have an overflow of buyer appointments and listing appointments. And at some point, you're going to need a team because you physically won't be able to go out in all the appointments. I know you may be skeptical about that, but that would be a good thing, right? If we could show you how to have a real business where you don't have to go out on the appointments. Now, why would other agents come and want to work with you? Because you've got what they want. Imagine if you could say to other agents in your community, hey, I've got too many listing appointments or too many buyers coming at me. I can't work with them all. So if you come and you join up with me, I'm not giving you crappy Zillow leads to call, right? I'm giving you actual listing appointments and buyer appointments. So I teach you how to do the listing appointment, and then you teach the agents you recruit, and we all make money. That's how it works. Now, pretty soon, you've got enough agents working with you and you're just focusing on the marketing, and you can start to work less days, right? Maybe take weekends off, maybe go away on a vacation. Maybe your real estate business starts to serve your life, right? Like that's why we got into real estate. Remember, we had this crazy idea, I get into real estate, I get to be my own boss. Yeah, now you find out you're working for a lunatic. You're working for you. You got the great joy of working 7 days a week. Let's change this up. Stop learning how to sell real estate from people that were not successful. How about that for a start? Some of these big name coaches, have you guys done the research? Like, we're not that stupid, right? We're not going to learn how to sell real estate from some guy that's never had a real estate license, who's never done an offer to purchase his house, never listed a house. Well, that's what's happening in this industry right now. Everybody that's got a social media account, oh, I'm an expert. Yeah, okay, well, this is what's wrong with the industry. Okay, every company promising training. Well, who's doing the training? Gary Keller was the keynote at one of my events in Los Angeles. And Gary Keller was talking about even today, he has a coach. I had Dave Lineker as a keynote speaker, founder of RE/MAX. He was talking about even today how he has his coaches. And Gary Keller made a point. He goes, yeah, everybody has a coach, but who the coach is really, really matters. Find a coach that's actually someone that's poor can't give you advice on how to get rich, right? Somebody that's never played golf can't show you how to be a better golfer. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity here. If someone could type in, if it's not already typed in, proctorsupport.com. So proctorsupport.com, no space, proctorsupport.com. I want you guys to book a call with my team. Oh, here he comes. It's a sales pitch. Nope, I don't care. I'm good. Whether you don't give me a penny or not, I'm okay. This is a free call, by the way. It's not a sales pitch. But if I perform, if you like this today, smash the like button if you like this today. Okay, this cost you $0. $0. So I've just spent an hour of my life doing this, sharing this. Didn't need to do this. Spent $0. I think all of you got some good information today, right? Give me a comment. Did you get some good ideas today? Okay, this is for free. This is just off the cuff of my head. I'm giving this for free. But book a call. Go to proctorsupport.com. Click on my Acuity Day Timer. Set a day and a time, and we'll have a conversation. You see, here's what was missing today is I want to get to know you and what you're doing. This is how the call will work. We'll start off and say, okay, tell us a bit about yourself. How many years you've been doing this for? Do you have a team? You have no team? How much money did you make? How many homes did you sell? Okay, what are you doing? And you're going to tell us, and we're going to say, what do you like about what you do? What do you not like? And you're going to tell me, we're going to say, what's your goal? I want to sell 50 houses. Well, how many are you selling now? 25. Well, how come you're not already doing 50? You'll proceed to tell us why you can't reach your goal. And we're going to show you how you really can. So, proctorsupport.com. Now, also, you guys should be smashing the like button on this. And you should be following this page. So whenever I go live, like turn on notifications. Okay, this is going to be on YouTube. This will be sliced and diced. This will be tens of thousands of real estate agents will watch this training. Let me tell you a little bit about what happened here today. I gave you a presentation, right? And it was a really good presentation. and it cost me $0. Let me show you how you can do this and offer great information to buyer and seller prospects in your marketplace. See, every one of you that have watched this live today on my business page on Facebook, again, it'll be on YouTube, it'll be all over the place, but you've watched this live and you've been pixeled. And what that means is I don't know your name, I don't know your phone number, but Facebook does. Facebook knows who you are. And I can push out Craig Proctor content so you start to see me in my news feed over and over again. So some of you met me for the very first time here today. Let me know in the comments below if you're meeting me for the very first time. Some of you have been following my stuff or just started to, and what you're seeing is you're seeing Craig Proctor over and over and over again, right? This is called retargeting. We're going to do this for you. We're going to show you how to do this. First of all, you got to have good content, okay? There's no use being in someone's news feed or being in front of buyers and sellers if you ain't got anything, right? If you're talking about things that don't matter to them. So what is it that buyers and sellers really, really want that they can't find on their own by doing a Google search, okay? So what about unlisted and off-market homes? What if you offer buyers, we have access to unlisted and off-market homes, distress sales, and bank foreclosures, and homes that you can't find online. They're not on MLS. You can't find them on Zillow. How many of you would agree that if you were able to offer something that the buyers thought was better than just going and searching the houses by themselves and looking at the leftover houses, that some of the buyers would be interested in talking to you about, well, how do I get access to bank foreclosures and distress sales and fixer-upper properties? So you don't have to judge on like how to do it. Don't worry about how to do it. I know how to do it. Is this a good idea for you? And some of these buyers would have houses to sell, right? And remember, I said the easiest way to get listings is to compel the person that owns the house to respond as a buyer. So they contact me, they say, yeah, we would like access to the bank foreclosures, the company-owned properties, the vacant homes, the fixer-uppers, the homes that have recently been reduced, the unlisted and off-market homes. Do you see how that sounds different and better? Now, of course, you need to deliver on that. But when you find them a property, let's agree, they're ready to list their home with you now. Now, that presentation for buyers and sellers, we need to really, really work on this. As a reminder, in the middle of July, in the United States of America, there will be no commission offered on the multiple listing service. So the field that says, hey, here's what the buyer broker is going to get paid, that field goes away. Okay, so it's not like, you can put a zero in. Yeah, today you can put a zero in, but there will be no field. So you're going to need to learn how to negotiate your fee directly with the buyer. And this is why we want to get listings, right? Listings are the name of the game. We're also going to, on separate training, we're going to show you how to negotiate your fee and be compensated with buyers with the new rules that are coming in. So we're going to wrap it up here today. I also have a private Facebook group. If you guys want to be part of my private Facebook group, I've got about 8,000 top agents. You don't have to be a millionaire agent. You just have to say, I'd like to make $1 million a year as a real estate agent. You're going to type in private group, okay? Private group, and we'll get you an invitation to Craig Proctor's private Facebook group. It's called Rich Agent Secrets. And finally, again, I'm offering you a summary of what we talked about here today, okay? The 9 reasons you lose a listing. We've laid it all out. It's, like 20-page report. Drop in your email address below, and we'll get that out. So how many of you found this extremely helpful? If you found this extremely helpful today, please leave the comments. Let us know what you learned today, what you liked about today. And of course, you can click on the share button. You can share this presentation with other real estate agents that you believe would benefit from our conversation here today. Maybe even want to share it with your broker owner because your broker owner wants to help all the agents in the brokerage, right? So we're going to wrap it up for today. You guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you again next time. This is Real Estate Coach Craig Proctor. Take care. Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos, and I load them onto this YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're going to see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's going to let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.